Yes, what's happening, people? And welcome back to Gav Goes In. Big up to Sharon, big up to Sham, big up yourselves, Reluctant Gamer as well. Listen, yeah, guys, sorry for the slight delay, but yeah, it's so hot today, man. But you know what? This weather, I think we can't really complain too much, you know, because when it starts raining, as is predicted tomorrow, then obviously I'm gonna say I wish it was bloody summer. So yeah, but no, as I say, apologies for coming slightly late, but big up yourselves for coming on. And guys, listen, if you just come on, as always, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. Just go through a couple of your questions, and then obviously we're gonna get going. Obviously, you guys can see the title. You know, it's funny because I was actually saying yesterday, I would be surprised if Brentford actually accept the deal. But you know what? Yeah, I'm actually quite shocked. I thought Brentford would have longed it out, you know, because now obviously their replacement isn't there yet, and obviously they're looking at Amari Hutchinson. And I reckon Ipswich are going to up the price now for Hutchinson, knowing that Brentford have got the money to go and pay for him, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say, man, anyway. But yeah, listen, frustrated ain't the word, you know. What I would say is the deal has finally been done, you know. But again, the excitement's gone out of the deal, you know, because this deal should have been done 5-6 weeks ago, 100%. Yeah, so Sharon says, how much does Mbuemo cost Man United? So it was 65 million up front, and then 5 million in potential add-ons. So I think the add-ons are more realistic to reach 70 mil, what Brentford actually upped it to yesterday. So I mean, United have had their pants pulled down really, because they could have got him for 60 mil. But I think the main thing is it's over the line. Yeah, sorry, 6 million add-ons. And as I said, I think the main thing is it's over the line, and now we can move on to other targets, you know. And Mbeumo for me is a much needed signing, especially for this system. But I think if we're ignoring the system, and if United go back to a 4, he's going to fit perfectly in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. So I have to say the two signings of Mbuemo and Cunha, they're two great signings in the sense of their club signings. You know, they're signings that can fit into any system, whether this manager stays there or not. So yeah, I have to say it's good business, but United should have this deal wrapped up long time ago, you know. I'm just going through your chats. So yeah, no, Sharon, listen. I do stream on Saturdays, but I can't stream tomorrow because I got a barbecue on. So obviously I'm gonna be busy the whole day. So I won't promise anything. So I'd rather just go live possibly on Sunday, and then obviously I'll be back with Jonas on Monday as well at 5:30. So as I said, always keep an eye on the stream, on the schedule to see when I go live. But yeah, nah, Saturday I do normally stream Saturday, but not tomorrow, unfortunately. But yeah, big up yourself for coming on. So yeah, going back to Mbuemo, yeah, much needed signing for me, you know. And I think personally, you know, I look at this signing along with Cunha. You know, I think we start looking at the attack now and start thinking, you know what, this attack has definitely got quality in it now. You know, I think the favoured attack for me right now, as I've mentioned previously, is Joshua Zirkzee in the 9, Mbuemo now on the right-hand side, and Cunha on the left. And the thing is, Amad Diallo for me, I don't want to see Amad play right wing-back. I don't want to see him play right wing-back. But I heard talk that Dallow's going to be given the number 2 shirt. And again, Dallow's the favourite of Ruben Amorim. So you'd have to think Dallow's going to play, which means where does Amad actually figure in? You know, and for me, this is the problem, because Amad, for me, is an attacker, you know, but this system, he probably looks better as a wing-back. And this is why I can't stand this system, because it's having us think that Amad is now a wing-back. And the thing is, if you play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, Amad can play in the 10, he can play on the right. 4-3-3, he can play on the right of the three up top, you know. And as I said, man, it's frustrating that this formation is having Ahmad's been seen as a wing back, and with Mbuemo coming in, you know, I wouldn't even mind it, you know, if Mbuemo played as the right wing back and Ahmad played as the right 10. You know, I wouldn't even mind that as much, but I think that's quite unlikely to happen. But as I said, I wonder what happens to Ahmad, you know, because I think we'd have to believe Ahmad is definitely going to get game time. And he's someone that, you know, we've kind of forgotten about because, you know, I think all the talk's been about Cunha and Mbuemo. And it's like, even myself, I've said, you know, I forgot about Ahmad. But now, when you think about it, because if I go through United's best team right now, which is including Mbuemo, well, if I go through the manager's best team, I think what he's going to do. Big up to Sonye Sanoun as well from France. Big up for coming through. So what I would say, for what the manager, I think, wants to play, obviously in goal, you got Onana. The back three, I think he's going to play Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt, and Mazraoui is the back three. And the wing backs will be interesting because you would have to believe Ahmad has to play. But I think Dalot plays as well. So whether he plays Dalot on the as a left wing back and then plays Ahmad as a right wing back, which means no place for Patrick Dorgu, you know, the manager could actually do that. We know he's going to play Bruno, and Bruno's going to be one of the central midfielders. And I believe he plays him alongside Casemiro. Big up DXR. And then the front three, as we know, will be Mbuemo and Cunha. And the number 9 should be Xerxes. But Rasmus is still there. So is he going to play Rasmus, you know? On the other hand, for me, this is the team that I would play. You know, I would play... And again, I'm having to base it on the three at the back. Not that I really like that formation, as I said before. But the three at the back, I will play... See, I like natural left-footed centre-backs for the balance. But I think Mazraoui, you have to find a place for him. So I think Mazraoui as the left-sided centre-back, De Ligt in the middle of it, and then Lenny Yoro on the right. And then the two wing-backs, Patrick Dorgu as a left wing-back for what Man United got right now. And then right wing-back, yeah, possibly Ahmad, you know. And then the midfield, again, the midfield is shocking. There's not really too many options. I'll definitely play Casemiro in there. And you probably will have to say Bruno because there's no one else because Ugarte is shit. And Collier's is injury prone. And as much as I'd like to play Kobe Manu, in this system, Kobe Manu is not a number 8. And then the 3, you're thinking of Cunha, Mbuemo, and Xerxes. Or you could play Mbuemo as a right wing back and then Ahmad as the right 10. And I think that would be the strongest team for me personally in this system. However, if you play a 4-3-3, I'll play Mazraoui right back, Patrick Dorgu left back, Matthias de Ligt and Lenny Yoro as the 2 centre backs. And then in midfield, the 3 in midfield, I'll play Casemiro, Kobe Manu as a left central midfielder, and then possibly Bruno because there's no one else to play in there. And then you've got Mbuemo, Cunha, and Xerxes as the 3. And again, that means leaving out the likes of Ahmad, who can easily play in there. However, if you play a 4-2-3-1, and this is a formation that I want to see United play, again, the back four is the same of Mazraoui right back, Dorgu left back, and Matthias de Ligt and what's his name, Lenny Yoro centre back. And then the 2 in midfield, I'd play Kobe and Casemiro. And then I'd play Mbuemo from the right, Ahmad in the 10, Cunha from the left, Xerxes as the striker. You know, and for me, that would be a very good team with what United have available at the moment, you know. But as I said, this deal has dragged out, but thank God, as the title says, United look like they've got that over the line as well. So, which is good. Big up to Barbara Joseph and big up to Halal Reluctant Gamer. Big up, man, for coming on. Guys, I will get back to your questions. So, yeah, be sure we'll definitely get back to your questions. So I wanna find out as well, guys. What do you think Man United's next targets are? Who do you think United should be targeting next? You know, I've heard a couple of names which I'm not taking too seriously. You know, but just going back to the Mbuemo signing, you know, it's yeah. I mean, Mbuemo's 25 years of age. Cunha 26. Both guys Premier League proven, and both guys will think they'll have a point to prove as well. You know. And yeah, very, very, very happy with the signing. But again, I'm just drained of how long it's taken, you know. And yeah, as I said, it's been frustrating. But now we can put it to bed. Obviously, he's got his medical coming up. Big up to Daniela as well. And as I said, let's just hope Man United have got some other players in the offing. One of the players United have been linked with, which again, I'm not taking too seriously, and that's Benjamin Sesko. Obviously, I've heard news today that United are interested in Benjamin Sesko, although I don't believe it's true because, you know, Benjamin Sesko, I think is what, 21, and for me, isn't good enough anyway, you know, but apparently United are looking at him as they've had long-standing interest in the player before. But for me, yeah, as I said, Sesko's not what United need. I think if United want to get Premier League proven, you know, and what's available at the moment, I think the only striker they should be going for is Jean-Philippe Mateta. I know there was people that think Ollie Watkins might be a good signing. Personally, I don't want Ollie Watkins, you know, but if it's Ollie Watkins or nothing, then, you know, I'd probably say nothing because I'd rather the money be spent elsewhere. And as I said, when you've got three players that can play through the middle as well, I think the necessity to get a striker isn't really top of the list for me. You know, I think definitely a couple of midfielders is what is needed. Big up to Not Brett May and big up to Ammo. Guys, make sure on your way in you smash the like button. Let's try and hit 30 again. We got 9 at the moment, but big up yourselves for coming back on. And guys, make sure you give me your questions and I'll definitely get back to your questions, man. Big up yourself for coming through. And as I said, Benjamin Sesko for me, I mean, he's not even better than, well, I say he's even not even better, but is he even better than Rasmus Højlund? Someone that for me desperately needs to be out of the club. And as I said, big up to FOE4HM3D. Says, how much you benching, bro? Quite a lot, man. Quite a lot. I think if we're talking about dumbbells, 50 kg each hand. Dumbbells. What's that? That's 100 kg. So, yeah. Been training for a little while still. And I enjoy it, man. But, guys, as I said, I will get back to your questions. But yeah, let me know what you think about Benjamin Sesko. I don't think Sesko is I think he's a non-starter, really. I don't think United will be going in for a player like that. I think it's just speculation. And as I said, man, yeah, it's one of them things where you've got players there now that can play through the middle. Just focus on getting a couple of midfielders because I think that's where United are massively short, you know, in midfield. Because to think we've got a midfield of Casemiro, Bruno, Ugarte, you know, Collier, Kobe Mainu, who can't play in the 2 in this system. United definitely need a couple of midfielders, and you guys already know who my number 1 target is. You know, he has been my number 1 target ever since the start of the season. So, as I said, yeah, I just hope United can kind of get a move on. But yeah. Positive news, guys. Benjamin Sesko, Bryan Mbuemo. Obviously, United agreeing the fee, and now we can look forward to getting this over the line. You know, hopefully get him in for. He's going to miss the game tomorrow against Leeds, but hopefully get him in training and get him playing some games. And as I said, everything is going to be geared up towards the first game of the season against none less than Arsenal. You know, obviously arch rivals. So, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to. You know, and I just hope United have been working on something else and then not waiting for this Mbuemo deal. And again, the main thing as well, I want United to get these outgoings going as well. You know, whether that happens quick enough or over the weekend, I'm not sure. But I think it's time United start making moves now. So yeah, guys, big up. I'm gonna go through all your questions. You know, so bear with me. I will go through each and every single one. You know, you guys have taken the time to come through, and it's only right that obviously I go through your questions and yeah, react back to that. But big up yourselves each and every time. So let's see. So Sham says your initial bid was on the 4th of June. Laughable how you offered 55 mil all in all, and at the time, it's good Brentford dragged it out to get as much as they can. Again, Sham, I've been saying this from when we started talking about Mbuemo. I think the fact that United have paid, you know, 65, including 6 mil in add-ons, I believe Brentford could have got slightly more, you know, and really and truly, it's been a mockery of the transfer window. United have made it because United could have just offered the 60 mil up front, what Brentford would have won anyway. And if you look at all the other players, what they've gone for, that are not better than Mbuemo, you know, they would have got him for 60 mil. But United, as what United do, they just drag out these deals, and now they've ended up paying more money. So I think in the end, they're getting the player, but I think in terms of respect, I think their respect has gone down in that sense because you've been played about really by Brentford, because United thought that they can just come in, offer Brentford whatever, and think that they can bully Brentford in a way. And how it's turned out is that United have actually paid more than they actually had to. So yeah, Brentford have actually mugged United off. Let's be honest, you know. But I think all in all, the players there now, and I don't think they'll worry about that too much. But for fans that have been witnessing this, yeah, it's not good, man. But the players there, and that's the main thing. But big up, bro. Yeah, big up, Sharon. Big up. So let me see. Okay, so now that you finally got Mbuemo, what is next for your team? Haven't seen anyone linked to United. I'm hoping it's a midfielder. I think a midfielder is more important for me than a striker. You know, I think, as I've mentioned loads of times, you know, a striker for me isn't that much of a priority. I think definitely as two central midfielders, you know. I mean, there've been links to Douglas Luiz, who I think is a very good player. Obviously, Sancho is in talks with Juventus. Although, I can't see Sancho going Juventus. I know, from what I've been hearing, it's quite close. But I can't see that materialising, if I'm honest, you know. They've signed Francisco Conceição. And obviously, they want Sancho as well. But I'm not sure if that actually happens. So, you got Douglas Luiz. I mean, Adam Wharton's unrealistic. Ederson, that's gone quiet. You know, I did a stream on Lamine Camara at Monaco, and I think he's someone that a few teams should be looking at. You know, obviously United haven't been linked to him, but again, as you guys know, which I ain't gonna go into too much, Carlos Baleba for me is the main target. So, two central midfielders, you know, is what the priority should be. You know, and I would rate Ineos highly if they just shock everyone and just make their interest known in Baleba, because for me, Baleba fits so many. He ticks so many boxes for this team, what they need. You know, the age of him, the age that he is as well, but he just ticks so many boxes. You know, and as I said before, if United don't snap him up, I can see him moving on. So moving on to one of the bigger clubs. So United for me need to definitely get a move on Baleba. But until there's a bidding or until there's interest, I actually can't tell you who they're going to go for. You know, I think everything's pointing towards them going for a striker. And You know, Ollie Watkins, Mateta, Sesko now has been linked. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I like it when Man United just surprise and just there's no one that they've been linked to, and all of a sudden they just come out and bid for a player. You know, I like things like that. So whether they've got that in the pipeline, I think remains to be seen. But for me, definitely, 2 central midfielders is a must for me. 100% for me. Yeah. Big up to DXR. DXR says, "What waiting for this channel to blow?" Yeah, listen, DXR, bro. All I can keep doing, man, is putting the work in each and every day. Obviously, you guys obviously enjoy the stream because you come back, which is much appreciated. So yeah, just gonna keep working, man, and obviously keep reaching out to more and more people because, as I said, I know the capabilities of what this channel can go to. You know, it's just pure football talk, and the thing is, as well, it's not just about Man United. It's about any team you support. You know, we can get into it. You know, because it's just football talk, and it's something that I've just grown up on, and you know, obviously my experiences, and I just love it. You know, so yeah, but big up, bro. DXR, bro. Listen, me and you the same. This three at the back, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan. You know, and this is why as soon as this manager does go, because I think he will go 100%. This back three is gonna be eradicated for me because there's not one thought of me that thinks that Ineos have come in and their game model is gonna be three at the back. I can't see that. You know, I can't see that. So as I said, I'm just hoping that, you know, of course you want Amorim to do well, but Amorim's not gonna do well because for me I've seen too much, and his reluctance to, you know, to play players in the right position and to drop certain players is going to be his downfall for me. So that's why I'm saying he can't last for me. Not because I don't think he'll last because of his own doing. And as I said, he's got 5 games at the beginning of the season to try and do something, you know. But again, if he goes, I believe the next manager coming in is going to go straight to the 4 at the back, you know. So. But yeah, this 3 at the back is frustrating because you're seeing certain players like Kobe Minu. He can't get a place in his team because he can't play in the 2, and now because Mbeumo is going to sign and Cunha's there, he can't play in the 10s because they're ahead of him. So yeah, it's annoying. So Halal Latin Gamer says, Man United are cooking with Mbuemo and Cunha. To be honest with you, it's early days, you know what I mean? But the fact that they're the 2 main signings for United, and again, they were the first choices as well, you know, it's good news. Even though the Mbuemo one has taken long, I think it's safe to say that they've got in their 2 top targets, you know, which is good news after a poor season last season. But now Man United need to be kicking on and getting. For me, I want to see another 3 players at least come in. 2 central midfielders, and if United want to get a striker, then fair enough. But 2 central midfielders for me is a must. And again, the outgoings. As soon as the outgoings go out, then I think this is when United are going to start making moves, you know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So Reluctant Gamer says we will win the Premier League soon. I'm guessing you're a Man United fan, Halal Gamer. I mean, when you're saying soon, how long you talking? You talking what? 2 years, 3 years? Because I think before United win another title, I'll go as far and say, I'm gonna say 4 years, 5 years. I mean, a lot of it depends on obviously the outgoings and the players they get in and the manager, because again, the manager for me is not good enough. If United can sort them things out quick, then again it might be quicker than you think. But I think at this moment in time, the likes of Man City, Liverpool, and you're gonna think Chelsea as well, they're too far ahead of United in my opinion, in terms of what they're spending as well. So yeah. So DXR says Tonali, United need Tonali. Yeah, listen, I'd love Tonali at Man United, but again, that's not going to happen. And all you have to look at as well, DXR, is Newcastle spent 70 mil for Tonali. So again, if they was to sell him, there was talk about Real Madrid. You're looking at 100 million easily, for Sandro Tonali. But yeah, he's a top player, man. For me, he's Newcastle's best midfielder. A lot of people might say Bruno Guimaraes, but for me, it's Sandro Tonali, 100%. Yeah, big up, Daniela. Big up for coming on. Yeah, you guys are killing me in the chat, man. You're killing me in the chat. Oh, he's Sunderland. Okay. Of course, yeah, the Sunderland badge. Reluctant gamer. I want to ask you a question. Tell me what you think about Chris Rigg. Do you think Chris Rigg's a good player? Because I think if Chris Rigg has a good season, I can see him getting snapped up, especially if Sunderland get relegated. Obviously, North East, Sunderland and Newcastle, the rivals. But yeah, what do you think of Chris Rigg? Let me know, man. So not Brett May says Mbeumo isn't worth 70 mil. Yeah, bro. I mean, I'll be honest with you. In this window, he is. But if we're being realistic, he's not worth 70 mil. But again, this summer window, again, a lot of the other players dictate the price. So if you're thinking that Newcastle paid 55 million for Anthony Elanga, then Mbeumo is worth 70 mil because Mbeumo's a better player than him, and he's definitely 15 mil better than him, you would say. So yeah, I have no problem with that because I just think Man United have messed up because they've just let this deal just drag on, and really and truly, it should have been completed long time ago, But yeah, I think in a normal window, he's not 70 million because that's a lot of money. But I think in this window, we have to say that he is worth 70 mil for sure. Guys, come on, 16 of you watching, only 14 likes. Let's try and hit 30 again. So if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you smash the like button. It just takes one press of the button, and again, make sure you sub to the channel. Big up yourselves. Let's see. So, Halal Reluctant Gamer says, Gav, would you accept 350 mil for Vinny Jr. if you were Real Madrid? Well, first things first. I don't see anyone offering 350 million for Vinicius Jr. because that is just ridiculous money. And again, if they did, then again, Real Madrid would be very silly to turn that down because, and I'll tell you why. The fact that Mbappe's there and Mbappe can play as a left winger, and you're receiving a bid of 350 million for Vinicius Jr., it's kind of a no-brainer. What I would say is that if there was no Mbappe there and there wasn't a direct replacement for Vinicius Jr., and let's not forget as well, Rodrigo's still there, who is actually a left winger. What I would say is that 350 mil is a fee you don't turn down, especially if you've got other players that can play in the same position. So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer really. But no one's going to offer that. I think even if Saudi wanted Vinicius Jr., I don't see them offering 350. I think more like closer to 200. I think 200 million, you'll probably say. But again, to answer your question, 100% you would accept that deal if you're Real Madrid, if you're getting that kind of money offered for Vinicius Jr. Of course. So Ammo says, Mbuemo finally over the line. Who's the next target now? Jackson. Do you know what? As I said, I think we spoke about Nicholas Jackson yesterday. For me, Jackson he's not my first target, of course not, for a striker. But, I mean, I'm hearing 100 million. I was talking to someone today, and they said Chelsea are quoting 100 million for Jackson. And for me, that's just not going to happen. There's no way he's gonna go for 100 million, and I don't believe Chelsea genuinely want 100 million for Jackson. I think they're just trying to put that figure out there to see if there's any team that might come in with a bid, but nowhere close to that. I think even 60 million is too much for Jackson, and I know Noni Madueke went for what, 52 million? But 60 million for Nicholas Jackson, for me, is too much. I think if Chelsea was to say, look, we'll take between 40 and 50, I think that's a good deal, you know. And I think you might have a few takers for Jackson, but anything upwards of 60 million, nah, you can keep the player, man. That's not going to happen. But what I would say is the people that are saying that Man United fans that don't want Nicholas Jackson, just remember you've got Rasmus Højlund at the club, you know. So for me, there's no striker off the table when you've got Rasmus Højlund. If Rasmus Højlund gets booted at the club, then again I'll be a bit more stern in terms of certain strikers can't come in. But as long as that player's there, then we have to be not turning down other strikers, because Rasmus Højlund, for me, as I keep saying, is the worst striker in the league by far. He's that bad. So yeah, I mean, if United going for Jackson, I won't be too disappointed. But I think, as I said, I don't believe United desperately need a striker. And if they do get a striker, for me, it has to be Mateta, you know, right now. So, but yeah, big up Ammo, man. Yeah, big up to Fo 4HM3D as well. Yeah, big up, man. Appreciate it. DXR says, highest I ever went was 30 kg each hand. Yeah, big up DXR, bro. I use that as a warm-up. I use 30 kg each hand as a warm-up. But listen, it just takes years of practice, man. Just keep turning up every day, man. So, yeah, you'll get there, man. Just got to just be focused and be consistent. And as I said, there's no secret to it, man. You know, you keep putting the work in, just like with anything, you're bound to get better. And that goes for the gym. Big up to Gunners fan. Gunners fan, let me know what you think about Noni Madueke being sealed. 20 million, I'm sorry, number 20 on his back, 52 million. Obviously, Gyökeres looking like it's going to be wrapped up as well. So, yeah, let me know what you think, man. Big up yourself for coming on. Ammo says, I don't think you lot can afford Sesko without European football. Also, playing one game per week is a luxury signing. Bro, I don't want Sesko. So, if that means we can't afford him, then thank God. Because I don't want Sesko. Sesko's not good enough. And it'll be like just getting Rasmus Højlund all over again. So, as I said, I don't want to hear Sesko's name mentioned with Man United again. Because you don't go and get them kind of players. And again, he's 21. He's younger than Rasmus Højlund. So, and again, he'll cost a lot of money. So, yeah, I think it's just speculation. You know, in comparison to what United have done in terms of signing the likes of Mbuemo and Cunha, you're signing guys that are mid-20s. So it'd be very weird for United to go for a striker that is, what, 21, and that's younger than a striker that is there now. So, yeah, as I said, I can't see that happening. And again, yeah, if that means no European football doesn't get Sesko, then I'm happy, because I don't want that guy anyway. So, but big up, man. So, not Brett May says, are you doing a watch-along against Leeds? I'm not, bro, man, because I think the game's tomorrow. And as I said, I got a barbecue tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy for the whole day. So, definitely no streaming tomorrow. I might see if I can do a couple of polls, though. I'll try and get that back working. Or I might try and see if I can do a couple of pre-records. I'll see. For the next Gen 50. But at the moment, I'm definitely not streaming. So I'm not going to promise that I'll stream and don't deliver. So, yeah. Ammo says, you should really be trying to pinch Osimhen. Again, I'm not a massive fan of Osimhen, you know, and Osimhen, I'm not sure if he's actually sealed the deal with Galatasaray yet. But again, I find the Osimhen one very weird. I think he's actually gone to Galatasaray. I think they're in talks with Napoli right now to confirm the deal. But what I would say about Osimhen is that, from what I heard, he wants 250 grand after tax. So that works out to about, what, 400 grand that an English club would need to pay him. So he gets the 250. So no one's going to do that. So that's why I think the hold-up is in regards to Osimhen. He's going to cost way too much money. So For me, he's not a necessity. But if he was available and for good money, then again, getting him in, someone that does score goals, I wouldn't be against it. But the fact that he wants that amount of money, and the fact that I've already said United don't particularly need a striker as badly, you know, I'm cool with Osimhen not coming through. You know, I think Mateta's the obvious one. He's in the league already, you know. But if not, you got Xerxes, who should just be restored to being the 9, and then you got Cunha, and then you've got Mbuemo, who can play there, and again you've got Chido Obi. You know, I'll take Chido Obi over Rasmus. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So I'm happy with that, really. Gunners fan says, I like what Man United are doing, getting proven players from the Premier League. Yeah, I think when you're in a kind of state that Man United are in, I think it's obvious that you have to go for players that know the league. You know, because I think if you look at Man United's transfer activity over the last couple of seasons, you know, it's been very hit and miss with players that have come from abroad. So I think the fact that they've got 2 players that are Premier League proven and that were at lower clubs as well, I think is good. You know, I think if they get a striker that's Premier League proven, like Mateta, you know, I think that's good business. And then once United get a settled team, you know, whether that's a 4 at the back, you know, or if it's with this manager, who knows, then that's when you can start, you know, pinching some of the signings from abroad that you feel you can just drop in straight away and make a difference. But I think where Man United are right now, they can't afford to be going to other leagues and hoping that these players work out, because they're so far behind the likes of City, Liverpool, Chelsea now, Arsenal, Newcastle, I'd say. They're so far behind them teams, they have to go and get the best of the rest. And Cunha and Mbuemo are definitely that. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forwards. Guys, come on, 14 likes. Let's try and hit, 16 likes. 14 of you in there at the moment. Come on, smash the like button if you haven't done so already, if you're enjoying the stream. And make sure you sub to the channel, you know. Guys, keep giving me your questions as well. Big up. So, Not Brett May says, how many goals will Mbuemo score this season? Oh, it's a question for the chat. Guys, how many reckon Mbuemo? I think I might have missed it already. I'm just scrolling up from the earlier ones. I'm not sure if anyone's answered. So, how many goals do you reckon Mbuemo will score this season? I think the fact that he got, what? Did he get 20 with Brentford season just gone? I think at Man United, as we know, United don't really create that many chances anyway. But I'd expect Mbuemo, you know, the fact that he's Premier League proven, for his first season, I think 15's a minimum. You know, I'd expect him to get 15 league goals. I don't think that's too much to ask for Mbuemo. And I expect the same from Cunha. I think 15 each is a minimum requirement for me. And I'll be happy, man. I'll be happy. So FOE, is it Fo Ahmed? FOE4HM3D says the next target should be Xavi Simons from Red Bull Leipzig. I'm not too sure about Xavi Simons, because if United are going to try and get another number 10, you know, I've always said it needs to be Eze for me. I'm a massive fan of Eze, and I think Eze should be the number 10 that United get if they don't go and get another striker. But I don't see Xavi Simons coming to United. Again, I think he's going to cost about 60 mil as well. He's going to cost quite a bit of money. So yeah, for me, yeah, I'd much prefer Eze over Xavi Simons, but I just don't know what United what their intentions are, you know, because again, there hasn't really been too many links to other players. You know, there's been a lot of inquiries, but nothing concrete like what happened with Cunha and Mbuemo. So. Big up to Shan, the Everton fan. Yeah, big up for coming through. We have an Everton fan in the building. I'm not sure if he's still there. Big up, man. Shan, if you've got any questions for me, make sure you put it in. I'm just going through everyone's chat. So, not Brett May says, I support Rangers and Villa. Where you think the villains will finish? You know what? I think Aston Villa is a weird one because I think I done my top 8 the other day, and I don't think I think Aston Villa were actually in 8th or 7th. I'm not sure what happens with Aston Villa this season, I'll be honest, because does Morgan Rogers stay? I think that's the main thing, because from what I'm hearing, Chelsea are heavily linked to him and are looking at preparing a 80 million bid. I think they desperately need a striker, and obviously they bought a new striker from Feyenoord, a youngster called Zepekino Redmond, who I think is going to be the John Duran replacement. How they let John Duran go as well is mad. I know there's a lot of money on the table, but I would have definitely kept him regardless. Ollie Watkins is unsettled. Emi Martinez is unsettled. So I'm not sure what happens, because there hasn't been too much activity from Aston Villa. I mean, has Aston Villa even signed anyone? I can't actually remember. It's apart from Redmond. But I think Morgan Rogers is a massive one. Will they keep him? You know, Yuri Tillemans, I think, will stay. I mean, they're linked to Garnacho, which is madness. You know, I don't know why they want Garnacho when there's other wire players out there. But yeah, I think Aston Villa, they haven't spent no money really, so it's hard to predict where they're going to finish. But I think they've got Unai Emery, who's a top manager, and I'm going to say, just based on Unai Emery, I'm going to say they're going to finish in the top 8. But if they don't make any signings and the other teams around them do, you know, who knows? They could slip further down, you know. But if they make a couple of signings, you know, who knows? They could mount a serious challenge for Europa. As we know, that's Unai Emery's tournament, really. And they probably might have a chance of even finishing higher. So, but I think they're going to need to make some signings. But at this moment in time, there's been nothing. And again, I'm not quite sure why they haven't gone in for Jack Grealish to bring him back. Because Jack Grealish instantly makes that team a threat, you know, along with Morgan Rogers if he stays. So, who knows? Shan says, I became an Everton fan randomly. I just came from Saudi Arabia 3 years ago. At first, I had no interest in football, but when I came in Manchester, I started to watch more football. Bro, the question is, man, if you came in Manchester, why are you not a United or a City fan? What drew you to Everton? That's what I want to know. Because I know it weren't Duncan Ferguson, you know what I mean? So, what drew you to Everton? That's the big question. Yeah, exactly what DXR said. What? So you went Manchester, but randomly became an Everton fan. That's mad. So, where's story? All my friends at the time support Liverpool, so I just decided to support their rival. Okay, that's random. That is actually random. But Shan, who's your favourite player for Everton? Who's your favourite player? And please don't say Jordan Pickford. But yeah, let us know who your favourite player is. Big up to Atmar Parankasuma. What's that? Is that Sri Lankan? Will you fight? That's random. Will I fight? Fight what? So I'm from the UK, man. Big up. Big up to Jude Fenwick as well. Says, do you think Man United have overpaid? Because I think we took too much time, leading to Brentford increasing the price tag. Yeah, Jude, I spoke about this earlier, man. You know, if you watched my stream yesterday, Brentford pulled down United's pants, and they have. Because United thought that they can just bully Brentford and offer, you know, money that they couldn't really use to replace to get to go and buy someone for when Mbuemo goes. So United were just messing around, and I did say the longer United do this, why don't Brentford just up the price? Because Brentford don't really need to sell him. Although they're going to be getting a massive price for a player that you'd think they won't be getting that again. But the fact that they've had to pay 70 million now, or 65 plus 6 in add-ons, Brentford has stood firm. And I believe Brentford could have got more out of them. If I was the Brentford owner, I would have said, you know what? We now want 70 for your messing around. Even though you've offered 65 plus 6 million add-ons, I would have said, you know what? We want 70 million up front. That's what I would have done. 70 mil up front and probably a couple of add-ons. Because United desperately wanted Mbuemo. And they knew there was no other competition for him. So they were just taking the piss. But if I'm Brentford, I would have just upped the price. And again, I don't believe Mbuemo would have been unhappy. Because the price that was set in the first place was fair. So, do I think United have overpaid? Well, in comparison to what he would have gone for, they have. Because he's not a 70 million player, but he's 70 million. He means he's 70 million to Brentford, really. So what I would say is, yeah, United have overpaid in that sense, but in terms of what everyone else has gone for me, I think it's a fair price. Yeah, listen, I'll tell you now, Chelsea, man, they must just be laughing all the way to the bank. 52 mil for Madueke, 55 rising to 60 for Mount, 60 mil for Havertz, 25 mil for Petrovic. I mean, yeah, they just take the piss, man, Chelsea, all the time, man. And I'm pretty sure there's other players as well. So yeah, man, they're just laughing. And again, as I said before, man, they're definitely going to sign a couple of players before this window's shut. Yes, Gav, I think he could go for really expensive too. He will be a crucial player for us. Chris Rigg, man, yeah. I don't think Chris Rigg will go for mad money. I think if you're saying a lot of money, you're probably looking at what? I reckon 30 mil probably if he has a good season. But he's definitely a talent, man. 100%. He is. Gyökeres for 60. 63.5 from what I'm seeing. Big up to Lewis Jackson. Guys, come on, smash the like button on your way in. There's 17 likes. We want to try and hit the target of 30 again. Big up yourselves. Let's see. So Saudi would want Vinny for commercial reasons. Yeah, I hear that. And I think I mentioned this the other day, actually. There's reports that Vinicius Jr. wants a new contract. And from what I heard, him and Real Madrid are far apart in their negotiations, And I think it's a power play from Vinicius Jr. I think Vinicius Jr. seen Mbappe come in and more or less take away his shine. So Vinicius Jr. is trying to test Real Madrid to see how much they really rate him. Because I think it's a power play what he's done. He's probably gone in at a higher wage, knowing that he can get that in Saudi. And what he's done is just basically, he's letting Real Madrid know, how much do you really want me? Trust me, it's clever what he's done. Because if Vinicius Jr. leaves, he will get the money that he wants in Saudi, no problem. But he'd probably prefer to stay at Real Madrid. But now it's a case of Real Madrid showing him how much they really value him. Because the fact that Mbappe's come in, Vinny hasn't really performed. Mbappe's kind of taken the shine away from him from Vinicius Jr. So he's kind of letting Real Madrid know how much do you really rate me, which is a good move. Gunners fan says, bro, I hope we never approach a player from Sporting after Gyökeres. They have been so difficult to negotiate. Yes and no. I think when you're getting a player that has scored the amount of goals that he has done for them, and the striker market isn't that great, they were always going to drive a hard bargain, really. So I don't really blame them. I think, they're well within their rights to ask for a lot of money because they're losing their main goal scorer. So, yeah, it was always going to happen. And I think any club that wanted him would have just turned up with the money straight away. I think there's some players that if you really want to play, well, it goes for all players really. If you really want a player, you just go and sign them. You just put the money down and stop pissing about. But they obviously wanted Gyökeres, Arsenal, but you know they weren't offering the money that the owner wanted, obviously. So now they're obviously getting close to a deal, which is it's obviously what Lisbon wanted. So yeah, big up to Shan, man. No worries. So Jude Fenwick says start, bench and sell Mbappe, Yamal, Dembele. Easy. And Jude, if you're still online, if you're still here watching, big up yourself. I like these ones. So start, bench and sell. So I would start Yamal, I would bench Dembele, and I would sell Mbappe. Easy. And I'll tell you why. Yamal's the best player of the three. Dembele can be an impact sub, and Mbappe because of marketing and his status in the game would sell for more money. Although Yamal could be in there as well for the money, but yeah, Mbappe's status would sell for money. So yeah, that's an easy one. Big up. So Halal Gamer says Chris Rigg will be the next KDB. Well, for a start, he's left-footed, so I don't know how you're working that one out. Doesn't play nothing like KDB. Let's not forget as well, KDB used to be a winger. So KDB come through as a winger and then started playing a bit more centrally as his career went on. Chris Rigg's actually a central midfield player who can play out wide, but yeah, I don't see the comparisons there personally. And obviously, one's left-footed, so yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, that one. But if he does turn out to be like KDB, then again you're gonna have a player that's highly sought after. So the only club that will pay 100 million for him is us. We love the rejects. Who's 100 million? Gunners fan, let me know. Do you think Sunderland will win a cup competition? It's unlikely, but again, as long as you're in it to win it, man. So, yeah. Amo says Frankfurt said Ekatike was 100 million euros. So we said that if that's the case, Jackson's worth the same. Yeah. I mean, again, both players are not worth 100 million. Definitely not. But if we're basing it on if Frankfurt won 100 mil, Jackson's already in the league. You know, he has had a decent couple of seasons. I can see why Chelsea wouldn't be. I can see why Chelsea would want something like that. But again, there's no way that I'm gonna see football and see Ekatike or Jackson going for 100 million. No way. And as I said, I don't see Jackson going for that amount, man. No way can I see that. Guys, I'm just working my way through your chats. So if I haven't read it out so far, then just bear with me. I will definitely get back to your chats. So obviously, there's quite a few. Big up yourselves. We've got 20 likes on the channel. Let's try and hit 30. We've got 10 more to hit. And again, make sure you sub to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Gamer says Newcastle might be interested in Sesko. I don't think they will be, and I think that'd be a big mistake if they go for Sesko for the money he's going to cost. I think the fact that Newcastle won Johan Visser, that would be a very good signing. You know, Visser's ready to come in and do business now. You know, Premier League proven. I think he's 28 years of age, very underrated as well. So, as I said, man, I think he's ready to come in and do a Mazza straight away. So, going to go and get Sesko would make no sense for me. Absolutely no sense. And will cost a lot of money. So, yeah. Gunners fan says Mosquera for this price is a great signing. As for Gyökeres, I hope we get him done soon. But you know what, Gunners fan, yeah? I think Arsenal needed, as I keep saying, they needed to get players in that come in and start straight away. I look at left wing, definitely. Number 10, because I think Odegaard, you know, has been having an easy ride. I think those two positions there, and obviously a striker, are the three positions that they need to focus on to strengthen. Gyökeres obviously looking like he's on his way. So yeah, you're thinking he's definitely going to start, and that improves them in terms of goals. But again, Gyökeres isn't a Arsenal type player, so how he's going to figure into this team will be interesting to see. Are they going to change their style of play for him, or is he going to have to adapt to them? Madueke, I don't care what anyone says, doesn't come in. I think he's going to start, but he shouldn't come in and start. That's the problem. So yeah, I think that's what they needed, to bring in players that come in and start straight away, and they haven't done that for me. Jude says, I think that Arsenal signing Madueke was a bit of a waste because Saka is better, and if you want a title-winning level winger, they should have went for Rodrigo. And bro, listen, I couldn't have said it any better. You know, I think Rodrigo was never going to be realistic for Arsenal, but if Arsenal wanted to show intent, they should have saved that 52 million and at least put a bid in for Rodrigo and test Real Madrid's resolve. But the fact that they went for Madueke, you know, and didn't even you know, bid for Rodrigo, let's say, that's wasted money for me, because he doesn't improve Arsenal. So not Brett May says, will you be doing watch-alongs through the season? Big up, Brett, man. You know what? I've done a few watch-alongs before. I've done one for the Europa League final between Tottenham and Man United. But do you know what? If I get a few more people that want to watch the watch-alongs, then yeah, I'll have a look at doing that, man. You know, I'm someone that likes to watch the game on my own. But again, if you guys want some watch-alongs, you know, and you want to come through and interact, then yeah, maybe I'll start doing that. But definitely not doing one tomorrow for the Leeds game. But yeah, as I said, I will look at doing that if you guys want to do something, if you guys want to do a watch along, 100%. Big up to Lewis. Lewis says Glazers on tomorrow. That's it. What do you mean Glazers on tomorrow? I'm lost. So Halal Gamer, what he thinks about 5 or 6 of the Sunderland new signings: Adingra, Talbi, Reinildo, Siddiqui, Diarra being African, so we'll be off to AFCON. It will derail their season. Good point. Good point. I mean, Simon Adingra, I think, is a good player. Obviously, formerly of Brighton. Chesmadine Talbi from Club Brugge, you know, he was rated highly. You know, he's like meant to be one of the next up-and-coming youngsters coming through. Reinildo, obviously formerly of Atletico Madrid, experienced left-back. I don't know too much about Siddiqui and Diarra. But again, if they were going to AFCON, boy, that's mad. How are they going to cope with that? So Gunners fan says, if Sesko averages 17 to 25 goals a season for like 3 years, then I will consider him worth the price. Yeah, but he's not even averaging that in the Bundesliga. So how does that make sense? Gunners fan, how does that make sense? He's not even averaging that in the Bundesliga. Where is a realistic place for Man United next season? I mean, 1 game a week, you know, signings in through the door. I think top 8, top 6 has to be a minimum. But under this manager, I'm just not too sure. So, yeah, I'll keep my cards close to my chest, really. Until I see the first 5 games and see what happens, if the manager's here or not, I can't really say where I think United will finish, you know. I know my expectations, but a lot of it depends on the manager, really, because I don't rate this manager. And again, the signings. Big up to Lewis Jackson, says, I love your streams, bro. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Listen, it's only going to keep growing. And obviously with the help of you guys as well, you know, I'm optimistic, man. So big up yourselves. Guys, come on. We got 10 of you in there, 20 likes. If you haven't subbed to the channel, or if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do. Make sure you do. Been going for an hour now. Big up. So Jude Fenwick reckons 10 to 20. Who's that for Sesko? I don't think Sesko. I mean, Sesko will get 10 to 20, or is that for Gyökeres? I think I'm just working my way back up to the chat, guys. So you guys might have answered the questions already. So big up to Grex. Yeah, big up Grex. Congratulations on Man United on Mbuemo. Bro, to be honest with you, man, I don't think it's congratulations. I think it's more of a relief, because this deal, as I said, should have been done time ago. But yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But you know what? It's over the line now. You'd think. Obviously, he's got his medical coming up. So all we can do now is just keep positive and see who the next targets are. But big up, man. Anyway. Chris Escobar says Chelsea winning the league this year. I'm guessing you're a Chelsea fan, Chris. I think if Chelsea go and get 2 world-class signings, I'd put them on par with City and Liverpool this season. 100%. But I think as it stands right now, I think them winning the league, I know they beat PSG, who's the best team in the world right now. But them winning the league, I'm going to say not at the moment. But again, the window's still open, so it can change. It can change, because I think the money they've made from the Club World Cup and from players they've sold, you know, I think they're primed to go and get a couple of more players, and that could change it for them. Jude says, I think they're not looking at Jack Grealish because of his wages. Is that Aston Villa? Yeah, but I think Grealish will take a wage cut to go back to Villa. I think he will. So Gav, Shan, and Halal, reluctant game is same person, bro. He's a troll. Okay. So Chris Escobar says, I would never pay Brentford that kind of money. But yeah, as I've already mentioned, Chris, man, United have just messed up this window so far in regards to Mbuemo. But the main thing is the players there now. It's been a long drawn out saga, but they've got it over the line now. But it should be a lesson. You know, you can't just think you can just go in and lowball Brentford with an offer that doesn't really reflect the player's value. You know, and they could have got him for 60 million in the end, which they've had to pay more money. But they've got the player now, and that's all that matters to me. You know. But yeah, it is frustrating. So Lewis says, what could happen to United if they can't pay the debt back to everyone? What debt's that, Lewis? Big up, man. What debt's that? 3.3 million a week is crazy. What they want to pay him. Who's that? Who are we talking about, guys? So how many goals can Elanga get? I think Elanga will be. I think Elanga can get what, between 10 and 12 this season. I think if he gets between 10 and 12, that's a good season for him. And to be honest, the way that Newcastle play, I don't see any reason why he can't get that, if I'm honest. So can you see João Pedro getting over 20 goals in the Premier League? I don't know if he'll get over 20 goals. I think he will do well this season because he's a good player. But 20 goals, I'm not so sure, because again, he's gonna have to be starting week in, week out to get that. And they've just signed Liam Delap. So what's gonna happen? Because I'm pretty sure with Delap having number 9 on his back, Delap will be expected to start most games. So whether that's gonna happen or not, if João Pedro plays week in, week out, then 20 goals might not be unrealistic for him. But I just don't know if he's going to start week in, week out. We'll have to wait and see. Brett May says, do you rate Ahmad? He was on loan at Rangers and was shit. For me, Ahmad's one of the best players in the league, for me. one of the most talented players in the league, easily. You know, I think the fact that we're having to see him play as a wing back, you know, is taking away his abilities, which is why I can't stand this formation. But in terms of ability, in terms of how good I think Ahmad can be, yeah, for me he's one of the best. He's one of the best players in the league for me, easily. You know, because I think he can go and shine for any team in this league. You know, at Man United, you know, it's a struggle because this team are just broken, and the manager's playing a system that doesn't really get the best out of many players. But Ahmad's the one player that I believe at Man United that can go to another level. You know. So not Brett May thinks Chelsea will finish second behind Liverpool. Bloody hell, that's I don't know about that. I think City and Liverpool will be the top two. But again, as I said, if Chelsea make some more signings, then yeah, they can come into the reckoning, definitely. So Gamer says, I see Rodrigo going to Liverpool, Man City or Bayern Munich. I'm gonna say Man City, Bayern Munich or Chelsea. I think Liverpool only come into question if they sell Luis Diaz. If Luis Diaz goes, then I think they might actually. I think they'll be interested in Rodrigo. But I think as it stands right now, I think City, Chelsea, Bayern might be the front runners for him, definitely. So Gamer says, you think Chelsea could make move for Rodrigo? Bro, they've got the money to. This I'm trying to say to you. I just got a feeling that they're looking for a left winger, and I think it's going to be either Rodrigo or Morgan Rogers. And they've got money to go and spend on Rodrigo because of the Club World Cup and the players they've sold. So I think what these teams are waiting for is for Real Madrid to make Rodrigo available. So I've heard that he's having talks with Xabi Alonso. If they make him available, there'll be talks and offers coming in for him. And I think it's going to come from Chelsea, Bayern, and Man City for sure. Again, Liverpool, they've probably got the money for Rodrigo as well, but Luis Diaz is still there. And if Diaz goes, I think that's when they come back into the reckoning for him. So 10 to 20 goals for Mbuemo. Yeah, I think 15 is a good start. I think 15 minimum. You know, he got 20 at Brentford, but I think new team, first season. I think it's a bit. You know, I think it's a bit harsh to ask for 20, but I think 15 for a player of his quality and for what he's done in the league already, I think is fair. So how many more players Man United need to have a successful season? So they've signed one at the moment in Cunha. We've got number 2 coming on the way in what's his name? In Mbuemo. I'm looking at another 3 players minimum. I think United need 5 players in this window. 2 central midfielders, you know, and then the last player, if it's going to be a striker, another number 10. You know, if United don't get a striker, I'd like to see another number 10 come in, definitely. Estupinian was being linked, you know, as a left wing back as well. Again, until I see who United's next target is, I think it's difficult to see where they go, man. But I'm gonna say 5 players for me is a minimum for the season. How bad it was, 5 players in, and if you can get 5 out, yeah, happy days, man. Big up to Ennis there, big up Ennis there, bro. Big up for coming on. Guys, come on, smash the like button. We got 20 likes. We're trying to hit 30 likes. So if you haven't smashed the like button and you're in the chat, just one press of the button, guys. Obviously, smashing the like button helps the channel to grow. And again, if you haven't subbed to the channel, make sure you do as well. So Jude Fenwick says, I reckon Elanga would get around 10, just below 20, because it depends on a lot of things. Yeah, I think the way Newcastle play, and you'd have to believe that Elanga's going to be a starter on that right-hand side. I think 10 to 12 goals, I think that's doable for Elanga for Newcastle. You know, I think 20 goals, I don't see him getting 20 goals. He's never got 20 goals before anyway. But I think if he gets 10 to 12 league goals, I think that's a decent season for him, you know. and a few more assists as well. Yeah. So what could happen at United if the debt isn't sorted? I don't know, man, because I'm not in the boardroom. So United have been in debt for. United have been in debt for years, isn't it? So United are always. I mean, everyone's in debt, really. Let's be honest, you know. But United are always going to be in debt. But you know, I don't. The club's not going to fold if that's what you think. They're not going to fold. So Man United are they're too valuable of a club to fold. But the debt has always been there. But again, I'm not someone that takes a massive interest in that because again, I'm not an expert in that field. You know, all I can control as well is what I see on the pitch. But in terms of the financials and the debt, I leave that to the others because that's what their job is. But for me, from what I know of Man United, they've always been in debt, and it's one of them things where the club's not going to fold if that's what you're thinking. But big up, man. Yeah, big up Sharon. Big up DXR. By the way, do you see Ahmad playing as one of the 10s or as the right mid or / right wing back? So again, Jude, I would love Ahmad to play as the right 10. But you'd have to think with Mbuemo coming in. You know, if the manager wants physicality in terms of pace in the wing back areas, then I'll be happy to see Mbuemo play as the right wing back and see Ahmad as the right 10. But you have to factor in that Diogo Dalot is a favourite of the manager. So Diogo Dalot is going to figure somewhere in his team, which is crazy. So between Ahmad, well, I'm not going to say Mbuemo because Mbuemo is going to start. Ahmad might not even start because, and if the manager's going to play Dalot out of position, playing the left wing back, then Ahmad could start right wing back. But if Dalot plays right wing back, Ahmad could be on the bench. So I just don't know what's going to happen in that regard, you know. Yeah, I just don't know, man. But yeah, again, this formation is a joke because if his formation changes, then you ain't got to deal with Ahmad playing right wing back because Ahmad can play in the 10 and play as a right winger, you know. And again, if you got Mbuemo who can play on the right wing and Ahmad in the 10, listen, all of a sudden, Man United's team looks frightening, you know. It does. I think Chelsea should get Rodrigo. They will challenge Liverpool for Premier League easily, especially after that PSG result. I think we can't really buy into a one-off game. You know, I do think Chelsea will be a threat, but to say that they'll challenge for the Premier League is still early days. But all they can do really is if they bring in a couple of more players, as I said, it's going to make them a problem for sure. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. We'll have to wait and see. Drew Fenwick says, I've heard that Xabi Alonso has told Rodrigo to leave Real Madrid. Jude, if you've got that for certain in the chat, then put that in, man. If you've got the quotes for the conversation of Xabi Alonso saying that, then put that in the chat because if he's told Rodrigo that he can go next week, expect some talks to be around him because, as I said, whatever price they're offering, and I don't believe it's gonna. I think it could be lower than some people might actually think. And if it's let's say like 90 mil or something like that, Chelsea have got the money. So if there are definite quotes from Xabi Alonso to say that Rodrigo can leave, make sure you put that in the chat, man. And as Sham said, he reckons about 100 million euros. Yeah, I reckon about 90 mil British sterling, pounds. I reckon Rodrigo might go for. Yeah. Is Rodrigo and Wirtz comparable players? If so, who's better? What I would say, they are comparable and they're not, if that makes sense. I think, well, Florian Wirtz is a number 10. Rodrigo's like a left winger, but Rodrigo can also play as a 10 as well. And obviously, Wirtz in a different system can play out wide. You know, they're comparable in the sense of the kind of players they are, but not really in positions, if that makes sense. It's hard to kind of explain. But what I would say, they're two quality players, man. And are you asking this because do you think they both can play together at Liverpool? The answer is yes, because Wirtz can play in the 10, Rodrigo can play on the left. And I'll tell you now, if you were to get both of them, those two in the same team, you know, I know people might say the physicality of the Premier League might be too much for them, but you're getting two quality players, and I don't think the physicality would be a problem. Because, again, Liverpool are a dominant team who are always on the ball, and who will be again on the ball 9 times out of 10 against the majority of their opponents. So he'll be a great signing for them, man. But yeah, they are comparable, but they're not in the sense of positions. But yeah, big up, man. Elanga might get more goals than Mbuemo with Newcastle attacking style of play. Possibly. It depends what Man United do this season in terms of if they're going to get more players in and a style of play. But I expect Mbuemo to get more goals than Elanga, if I'm honest. I do expect that. I saw that on Atalanta's page, I think, and then a day later, boom, Liverpool in talks with Rodrigo. Yeah, I've not seen nothing at the moment. I'll be honest. Until I see that for myself, I'm just gonna not take it seriously. But guys, if anyone's got that, make sure you put it in the chat as well. Because if Xabi Alonso has said that, then I think this is where it's gonna start getting interesting. This is where it'll start getting interesting, because to be honest with you, that's a player there that's gonna be sought after for sure. Okay. So Real Madrid have already said that they will listen to offers for Rodrigo. Fabrizio put the post out. Sham, when did he put the post out? When was this? When did he put the post out? Big up to Rinsa. Rinsa says Mbuemo backwards move for his career. Rinsa's on one tonight. He's on one. Arsenal fan, deluded. And the funny thing is as well, Mbuemo's a player that Arsenal should have targeted, not Noni Madueke. So we got a bitter Arsenal fan in the chat, you know, at the fact that he's got Noni Madueke, 52 mil. And as I said, Mbuemo's coming to the theatre of dreams. It isn't for everyone, you know. But big up yourself and make sure you smash the like button. And obviously make sure you sub to the channel as well, man. Big up. Guys, I'm going to go for another 10 minutes. Again, we got 20 likes on the channel. Let's try and hit... let's try and at least hit 30 by the end of it. So if you haven't subbed to the channel or if you haven't smashed the like button, it's just one press of the button. Make sure you do, guys. And big up yourselves each and every time. So last week, everyone knows about it. That's why a lot of football streams are blowing up about Rodrigo moving. Yeah, listen, I've not seen none of the Rodrigo talk, man. So until someone can put that in the chat, then I'm not going to take it seriously, because I need concrete evidence. Because if Xabi Alonso has said that, I'll be watching that closely, because I want to see who he goes to. Rinsa says Liverpool have to win the league with all their signings, to be honest, and Arsenal should have signed him. 100%. So Rinsa, what I would say, you know, if there's one team that has to win a trophy this season, and I don't mean Carabao and I don't mean FA Cup, it's Arsenal. Arsenal have to win a Champions League or a Premier League title this season, because the amount of money that Arteta has spent on this team, the investment that has gone into this team, the free reign he's had to do what he wants with this team, you know, it's about time he delivers one of the major trophies, you know. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans will be expecting that this season. If there's any Arsenal fan out there that thinks that Arsenal, you know, need to get a trophy and they're not really that fussed if it isn't the Premier League or the Champions League. Ask yourself this question: where is this club going? Because the amount of investment, as I said, that has gone into that club, it's gone past the stage now of them trying to win an FA or a Carabao Cup. It's gone past that stage. They have to win one of the major trophies. And do I think that's going to happen? Hell no. Because the Premier League right now, Liverpool and Man City are the top two. And I think Arsenal are in a battle for 4th place. You know, because I think Chelsea, if they get a couple more signings in, will be 3rd. And then they're battling with Newcastle for 4th place. So, again, what happens to Arteta? Are they going to give him another season to fail? These are the questions that Arsenal fans have to ask themselves. But yeah, as I said, Mbuemo was a player that Arsenal should have targeted. Because Mbuemo is someone that could easily oust Saka from his position. Madueke, I don't think will do that. So, but who knows, man? Who knows? So who do you think is the most underrated player in the Premier League? I don't know. I'll put that to the chat. Guys, who do you think is the most underrated player in the Premier League? Put it to the chat, Jude. I mean, I can't really think of one, really. I don't really know because I mean a lot of players are rated, you know, but yeah, I'll put it to the chat. Guys, answer, who do you think is the most underrated player in the Premier League? So not Brett May says Arsenal will finish trophyless. Brett, listen, I have to agree, man. I don't see them winning anything this season. You know, I think it's going to be another season of disappointment, you know, and as I said, they have to win one of the big trophies, which I don't see happening. So, so Jude says, like Sham said as well, it's obvious Alonso doesn't rate him or think he's good enough because he's played a total of like 20 minutes for Real Madrid since he came in. But I did say this at the very start. Xabi Alonso plays 3 at the back, yeah, normally. And what the problem is that Rodrigo should be starting, but Rodrigo's profile in terms of his status in the game is less than Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and you would say Jude Bellingham, even though he's not really directly affecting Bellingham's position. So if you just watched Bayer Leverkusen last season, they played 3 at the back. If you look at the player they had on the right-hand side, it was a left-footed player called Adli. Now, again, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe are going to start because of the profile. And then on that right-hand side, if you're looking for a left-footed player to play inverted, you've got Arda Güler. And then you've got Franco Mastantuono, who they've just signed as well. So automatically, Rodrigo's going to find game time hard. Not to mention as well, Gonzalo Garcia, who plays through the middle, has been scoring some goals. You know, so what it is with Rodrigo, he actually doesn't really figure in Xabi Alonso's team. Not because he's not good enough, it's because there's politics in place. Because Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. have to play because of the status that they have in the game. Which means Rodrigo's the odd one out. And then, as I said, the formation he plays is 3 at the back, which means he can't play. He has to play somewhere across the front, because you're not going to play Rodrigo as a central midfielder. So, yeah, this is why he's not really figuring, you know. But he's too good because he's better than both as a football player. He's better than both Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. But he's got the lesser profile. So the problem is he doesn't fit into this team, not because he ain't good enough, but it's because of how the manager sets his team up and who has to play. So it's a problem there for Real Madrid and for Rodrigo. So I think it's best for Rodrigo to go because I think his career is going to stagnate at Real Madrid, and he's someone who's too good to be on the bench, and he's someone that should be a main star of the team. So I think he moves on. So not Brett May says Arteta has spent $1 billion. Yeah, listen, has he actually spent $1 billion? If anyone knows how much Arteta has definitely spent on the players he spent and what for, put that in the chat. Because if he spent $1 billion, again, why he's still in charge is an absolute joke. He should have been gone 3 years ago. Gamer says Arsenal have no chance winning the Premier League or Champions League. I see Chelsea overtaking Arsenal this season, and Liverpool are too strong in Premier League. And Gamer, I have to agree with you, bro, because I've been saying this. I think I'm very confident in saying Arsenal don't finish second this season. I think that second place that they've been finishing is over. Rinser says the fact that United still make Rat Boy Fernandez their main man, and Mbeumo has definitely taken a backwards move. How do I answer that one? Again, the manager loves Bruno Fernandes, which again is frustrating, which is a joke. The Mbeumo one, I think it's a bit. It's for me, the Mbeumo one is just a salty Arsenal fan that wishes he was at their club. So it's not really too much to take from that. But listen, you man have got Madueke. Madueke is going to start as well, you'd think, for 52 mil, and you've got to deal with that. Let us deal with Mbeumo. You deal with Madueke. And we'll see, you know. But all I can say to you, Rinser, is I don't want to hear no excuses, because if Arsenal do not win a Champions League or a Premier League title, which is not going to happen, Arteta again has failed. That's it, you know. With Arteta, if he doesn't get a minimum of 10 points from his first 5 games, then he needs to get sacked. But bro, listen, you're giving him too much rope to hang himself. He should have been gone already. This is the problem, and he's gonna see out the season. I'm telling you. Even if you get 10 points from the first 5 games, they're not gonna sack him. You're lumbered with Arteta now, you know. And as long as Arteta's there, Arsenal are finished. They are. Matoma from Brighton. What's that? Who wants Matoma? Or Visser? Listen, Newcastle going for Visser, and I tell you now, I've been saying this from the start of the window. I was very surprised why Visser wasn't a main target at the beginning. And if they get that over the line, it's a very good signing. Very, very good signing. So Rinter says, the most underrated player in Premier League player, I would say, few, to be honest, but Gravenberch was Liverpool's main player with Salah. So we've got Gravenberch, the most underrated. Yeah, I'll go along with that. I mean, again, I've rated Gravenberch ever since he come through the Ajax Academy. You know, obviously went into Ajax's first team, then went to Bayern Munich, and now at Liverpool. So for me personally, I've always been aware of Ryan Gravenberch. So he's not underrated for me, because I know how good the player is. I think underrated for me is someone that you know who's good, but you didn't realize he was that good, you know. And I can't really put my finger on any player, really. I think, do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Moises Caicedo, because Moises Caicedo, for me, doesn't get the recognition he deserves. This is a player that is easily the best midfielder in the league, and he's one of the top 3 midfielders in the world with Vitinha and Pedri. So I'm going to say Moises Caicedo, because I don't think people realize how good this player is. He's a special midfielder. You know, he's a midfielder that can do really a bit of everything. And I'm going to say he's the most underrated for me. He's not underrated in the sense that people don't know who he is, but he's underrated in the fact for me that many people just don't realize how good he is. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to say. Amo says, same goes for Endrick. He needs a move. Yeah, listen, 100%. Endrick needs to... I'll go as far and say Endrick needs a permanent move, because I just don't know where he is. Because until one of Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. goes, and then one of them plays on the left and is a striker position 3, the likes of Endrick ain't going to play regularly. He's just not. So he definitely needs a loan move for me. 100% I'll say he needs a loan move. So Brett May says Arteta spent 800 million. And all he's got to show for that is an FA Cup that wasn't his team. It was Unai Emery's team. So for me, that's poor. That's poor. Guys, come on. 16 of you in there. Smash the like button. Let's try and hit 30 likes if you're enjoying the stream. And make sure you sub to the channel as well. So we need 8 more likes. Come on, guys. Let's try and hit 30 again. Big up yourselves. Rinser says, why does it matter how much Arteta has spent when United, Chelsea, and is that Newcastle have all spent $1 billion? I'll tell you why it matters. Is because when you spend that amount of money, you should have trophies to show for it. And United, Chelsea, and I'm not sure what other team you mean there, have all won trophies. This is why it matters. If Arteta spent that amount of money and he still hasn't got us himself a major trophy, this is why this is why everyone laughs at the fan base, really, and don't take Arteta seriously, because there's no way that you can spend that amount of money that Arteta has done and have no trophies to show for it. That's a fact. So Chelsea just won the Club World Cup and the Conference League. Can I be sure that Arsenal could even win a Conference League? No, I can't be sure of that. You know, I think on paper you'd say definitely, but they've got perennial losers in their team. It's a fact. So yeah, we can't be sure of Arsenal win anything. You know. So the fact that Rodrigo is arguably the best attacking player at Real Madrid last season while being played in the wrong position is crazy. And Jude Fenwick, listen, bro, you've been putting in some sick questions. You've hit the nail on the head. Because a lot of people don't actually know where Rodrigo plays. A lot of them actually think Rodrigo is actually a right winger when he's actually a left winger. This is the problem. And the fact that people think he's a right winger it tells you all you need to know why he needs to leave Real Madrid. Because as long as he's there, he's not going to be playing in his favourite position, because you've got Vinicius Jr. there, who plays on the left. And then secondary to that, you've got Mbappe, who's playing through the middle, but actually plays on the left. This is the actual problem. So he has to leave for the betterment of his career, 100%. Arteta should have gone 100 games ago. Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to disagree with that, man, because, yeah, there's certain Arsenal fans, again, that will tell you, you know, that Arteta should have gone, and they uphold the standards, a lot of them. But I think the majority of the Arsenal fans, and we got one now in the chat, are just absolutely deluded. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, though. It is what it is. Big up to Noel. Noel says, bro, Victor Gyökeres should go to AC Milan like he should be there. Whether he does that or not, I'm not too sure. But Arsenal are looking at finalising that deal right now. So yeah, I mean, AC Milan are a team that need a lot of investment now as well. You know, they've lost Reinders, they've lost Theo Hernandez, 2 of their best players. Mike Maignan unsettled. You know, Tammy Abraham's gone to Besiktas, who was playing for them. Leao probably wants to go, but is being priced out of a move. So yeah, there's issues there, man. But yeah, they're a team. Obviously, Zlatan's there as well. So you'd think that they're gonna, you know, get in some more younger players and try and build. So Newcastle have only spent 300 million since takeover, and again, Newcastle can spend more money, but it's the PSR, you know what I mean, which is actually killing them. So if Newcastle were allowed to spend money, that would be another team that would be above Arsenal, and even though I think at the moment you'd probably say they're on par. So yeah, AC Milan really lacks a good striker. Yeah, man, it's not the days of Shevchenko, even Pippo Inzaghi, Hernan Crespo. Them days are well and truly gone, man. Alexandre Pato as well. You know, they've had some serious bad boys in that lineup, man, as a striker. I think now, obviously, I had Olivier Giroud as well. I think now, I can't even tell you who their striker is now. I'm not even too sure. Obviously, Zlatan as well, you know. Yeah, they've had some serious strikers, man, but yeah, I can't even tell you who their striker is now. I I know Tammy Abraham was there, but yeah, it's mad. No, this is a narrative that is actually wrong, bro. Arteta managed all of the Plus Cups games that season from round 3. Yeah, but again, it's not about him managing them teams. He didn't do it with his own team. It was Arteta's team. My thing to you, my thing is, Rinsa, yeah? The team that he's got now is well and truly Arteta's team. So he has to get his team over the line. And the thing is, because they spent all that money, them just winning a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup isn't good enough now. Because he's built his team and he spent that money for them now to be competing for Champions League and league titles. That's where they're at now. I think the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, they've surpassed that in the sense of the team's been built over a longer period of time now, and the money that's been spent for them to be looking at those kind of trophies as success. So, big up to Zayn Alavi. Big up, man. Guys, come on, let's smash the like. 22 likes. Let's try and hit 30 likes, man, before we wrap up. I'm just going to go through last bit of your questions before we wrap. So Rinta says, okay, so everyone is saying Arteta out, but apart from the Palace manager, who is available to replace him? So, I mean, listen, managers are available. All you have to do is just be willing to pay the release clause. It's as simple as that. You know, Diego Simeone. If we're looking in the Premier League, who do I think would do a better job than Arteta? So, Arne Slot's at Liverpool, so you're not getting him. Pep, obviously, you're not getting him. Maresca's at Chelsea. Eddie Howe's at Newcastle. So, yeah, I mean, Thomas Frank would be a good manager for Arsenal, I believe. Take your pick, man. Guys, let me know. I forgot all the managers in the league, but Diego Simeone. I'm trying to think who else is in the league now. Thomas Frank, already mentioned. I can't remember all the other teams. Yeah, Oliver Glasner. Pick any manager. I mean, I'll take any manager now to do a better job than Arteta. Because Arteta, for me, isn't really... I mean, all he's doing, really, is just making Arsenal, you would say, competitive in the league. But he's had his team for how long now? And they're not really improving, are they? And I think they're actually gonna regress this season. Because I don't see them finishing second. You know? I don't see them finishing second. Caicedo is easily the best overall player at Chelsea. The only other player you can argue is better is Cole Palmer. Yeah, listen, them two there. And I'd have to throw in Romeo Lavia as well. If Lavia stays fit, you know, Chelsea have got, for me, the best central midfield in the league. Because Lavia's an absolute joke. You know, so press resistant as well. But the problem is, he just can't stay fit. You know, but when Chelsea have their full team, they're going to be a problem. I think they're in the same situation for me as Arsenal. You know, they need left wingers that are going to take them to another level. You know, both them and Arsenal. And again, the striker for me, they're not going to go for a striker now because Pedro and Liam Delap's there. But left wing, for me, that's where I see them strengthening. You know, so I think they're at the same kind of thing. AC Milan, not the same team they used to be. Best team of all time with Real Madrid, Barca, and Man United. Yep, I'd agree with that. I thought you were going to put Arsenal in there for a minute. What player do you reckon is overrated? I think it's Jordan Henderson. Jude, you know what? Yeah, you've been putting in some great chats, man, but you've lost me on this Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson underrated? He's not underrated, man. He's just a basic run-of-the-mill player. You know, let's not do that, man. Liverpool fans saying he's better than Paul Scholes. Yeah, but again, man, them guys must have been high on the Hennessy or something because, yeah, don't take that seriously, man. when they're saying things like that, you know, I know they're Liverpool fans and they want to back their player, but the chances are these guys are not well, or there's some serious issue with them, or they've been drinking. One or two, because these things are just, yeah, not even serious, man. But who knows, man. Jude, I think Gav thinks Jude Bellingham is overrated. Yeah, yeah. Listen, not only do I think he's overrated, I don't even think he's that good of a player. I'll be honest with you. He's overrated because he's a passion merchant. That's what it is. Because some of the nonsense that I've heard about this player, you know, I had to battle. I'm talking about a couple of years ago. I had to battle with someone trying to tell me that Jude Bellingham has the potential to be better than Zinedine Zidane. That person knows who they are. You know, he's not in the chat, but I was battling with this guy, saying to me that he had the potential to be better than Zidane. You know, Zinedine Zidane. It's like, when people start coming out with things like that, there's no point even having a conversation, because they're clearly deluded, not well. But again, I was battling for a couple of hours while the guy was telling me he's taken his shirt number, you know, he'll score more goals, you know, his potential's better. And the guy was saying it to me with a cold stone straight face. And I couldn't believe what he was saying. But again, people just deluded, man. To say he has potential to be better than Zidane is just madness. But is what it is, man. Do you think Real Madrid... Big up to Calok K2 as well. Guys, come on, smash the like button if you're still in there. 23 likes. So Calok says, do you think Real Madrid should sell Rudiger, Raul, I think it's Raul Asensio, Eder Militao and Mbappe? They can replace them with Dean, Cadres, Carvajal and Trent to replace Mbappe, definitely Garcia. I'm not understanding. So Rudiger, Raul Asensio, Eder Militao. No, I don't think they should sell either of them. I know Militao's injury prone. Rudiger for me is still their best defender, and Raul Asensio's a youngster. So, and Mbappe they're not going to sell. Who's Dean Howson? Dean Howson's there. So, yeah, listen, Dean Howson's a good defender. I'm not quite sure who Cadres is. Carvajal, again, is there for the experience, and he's a winner. And obviously him and Trent will battle for the right back place. And then Gonzalo Garcia has had a very good Club World Cup. So in answer to your question, it's difficult to answer, because they're not going to sell any of them, and they probably shouldn't anyway. So, but big up, man. People talk about Scholes, Lampard and Gerrard. Not once have I come across anyone saying Henderson over Scholes. Yeah, Sham, listen, bro. I want him to take that seriously. When I hear stuff like that, man, again, man, people are high on the drink, because, yeah, we just don't take them things seriously. Because Jordan Henderson, is he even better than Joe Allen, who used to be at Swansea? You know what I mean? Is he even better than Joe Allen? Let's be honest. You know, but yeah, as I said, man, people have their opinions, but when it comes to things like that, you have to just laugh, man. Mackay Simmons says, Arsenal is shit. We ain't winning nothing. No need to win a trophy. Embarrassing. At least we've got, you know, a normal Arsenal fan in there that's talking sense. Bro, I can't disagree with anything you said there. Embarrassing, yes. Not winning shit, I agree with. And Noni Madueke. That's Arsenal for you, you know. Big up, man. Gamer says, you think James Milner was good? You know what? James Milner was he's like an all-time great midfielder in the Premier League. You know, longevity in that sense. You know, he was someone that was underrated. You know, someone that can play multiple positions, done a job wherever he played. And again, he's like your stalwart of the Premier League. You know, so yeah, he's someone that you can say is underrated. I think he's still at Brighton. I think, and I believe isn't he? I'm not even too sure if he's that far away from breaking the record of the most appearances in the Premier League. I can't remember how far he's off, but yeah, he's underrated. So saying Bellingham is better than Zidane is like saying Henderson is better than Scholes. Well, there you go. There you go. And Sham, as I said, man, I was battling the guy for like a couple of hours, and he was adamant that Bellingham has potential to be better than Zidane. You know what I mean? And again, I won't go too much into it, man, but yeah, it was. I was almost tearing my hair up, man, at how adamant he was. But again, this is people for you with their opinions. It's madness, you know. They're drinking too much red wine and coke. Well, listen, I drink red wine and coke, man, and I ain't deluded. So, yeah, big up to Emmett as well, guys. Come on, smash the like button. There's 12 of you in there. We're on 23 at the moment. Big up yourselves. Rinsa says, "Oi, Endrick got married today. Who's managing this guy? 18 and getting married. 50% of his earnings soon gone when divorce comes." And you see the thing is as well, Rinsa. Yeah, I left my stocks in Endrick when I see the nonsense he was doing online. So the fact that he's got married at 18, again, yeah, serious questions have to be asked. You know. When where Endrick lost me was when I started hearing him say his idol was Bobby Charlton. Like when I heard that, that's when I thought, yeah, this guy ain't well. You know, because the amount of Brazilian players that I've seen over the years, and he's one of the newest ones coming through. And I've never heard a Brazilian player, probably apart from Pele. Because obviously Pele played in that era with Bobby Charlton and said, obviously, Bobby Charlton is the best, one of the best defenders he's come up against. And I'm hearing Endrick say that Bobby Charlton's his idol. I mean, Endrick just needs to get a slap for that, because who is he trying to fool? Who is he trying to fool? I didn't even watch Bobby Charlton, and I'm a good 20 years older than Endrick. Yeah, 20 plus years older than Endrick. So why is he saying that Bobby Charlton is his idol? Like, who's he trying to fool? And again, he's just trying to appeal to a lot of fans. It's like, Bobby Charlton ain't your idol. Like, stop doing that. You know, that's when I lost my stocks in him. But the problem is, yeah, I thought Endrick was a lot better than he was when I first see him. You know, and I watched a couple of clips when he was at Palmeiras and he looked special. You know, I was saying he's a mix of Romario and Adriano with the left foot. And then what done it for me is when I see him come on for his debut against England. And although he did score on his debut, there's a chance that he missed that I thought he was going to score. And that's when I thought to myself, oh, maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. And then obviously his career from there hasn't really taken off, you know. But yeah, that Bobby Charlton comment was mad. Like, yeah, he needs to have words with himself about that, man. 100%. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he's close to beating Barry's appearances, James Milner. Yeah, big up, gamer, man. Big up, bro. So Milner's only 16. There you go, 16 appearances away from overtaking Barry's total, meaning Milner could play less than half of Brighton's league games. And I think he's going to break it. I think if he's still at Brighton, you know, I reckon he'll be coming on for appearances. I don't think he'll start too many games, but some appearances I think he'll come on for, you know, 100%. No. Endrick didn't. Now, Sham, listen. So Endrick said his idol was Bobby Charlton. What a fucking idiot. Like, let's be honest, man. When I heard that, I thought, this guy, who is he trying to appeal to? Like, come on, man. Like, just be honest. Didn't Endrick and his girlfriend had a contract with each other at 16, or did I get tricked by the internet? Nah, bro, I think you're right. There was something about that. There was something about that. But, yeah, Endrick's tapped, man. Let's be honest. He's absolutely tapped. Bobby Charlton comment, getting married at 18, contract with his girl at 16. Yeah, I think he goes down from there, man, because you don't do them things. But, you know, I'll be the first one to say, you know, if he does have his career going the right way, I'll be the first one to say, you know what, he's turned it around. But I don't see it, man. But guys, listen up. Big up to Murat Dalmaz as well for coming through. Guys, come on. We got 24 likes. Let's at least hit 25 before we wrap up. And again, if you haven't subbed to the channel, make sure you sub to the channel as well. So yeah, we've been going for about an hour and a half. So guys, listen, big up yourselves each and every time. So as you guys know as well, I'm not on tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm taking a rest. I've got a barbecue tomorrow. So I should be back on Sunday. And definitely Monday as well. But yeah, big up to all the mods for coming on each and every time. Big up to Rinsa. Big up, bro. Yeah, big up for coming on, man. Catch you tomorrow, definitely. And big up to all the newcomers as well. Obviously contributing to the chat. You know, as I said, guys, get that malt ready. Listen, Mighty Malt, Super Malt, I'm not fussed, man. Just make sure it's there, man. But guys, listen, big up to each and every one of you for coming through and contributing to the channel. As I said, you know, we're gonna keep growing this. And if you guys like the content, then yeah, make sure you guys are there. Make sure your notifications are on as well to see when I go live. And again, guys, make sure you check out my other streams, man. There's some good content on there. Obviously, check out the playlist as well. You know, there might be some things you might find interesting on there. And as I said, big up to each and every one of you for coming through and helping make the channel what it is. You know, it's much appreciated. And as I said, we can only grow, and we grow together as a community. So, yeah, appreciate you, man. Big up to Jude as well for coming through. So, yeah, guys, I'll probably be back, as I said, on Sunday. I'm going to finish watching this women's... Spain just scored. Spain against Switzerland. Quarterfinals of the European Championships. And guys, before I wrap, did anyone get a chance to watch the penalty shootout yesterday between England and Sweden? You know what? Big up to women's football, yeah? But I have to say, that was arguably one of the worst shootouts I've ever seen in my life. I spent half my time watching the game, yeah? And I was just laughing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So if anyone hasn't seen the penalty shootout between England and Sweden, have a watch of that, because, yeah, that's the worst shootout I've ever seen. I couldn't even tell you, man. I couldn't even tell you what was going on there, man. It was mad. But big up to Moai says, bro, you look like Ashton Hall. Do you know what? Obviously, I work out of school, guys, and I've been getting this all week. About 6 different kids have been saying to me, you look like Ashton Hall. It's mad. It's mad. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on. Smash the like button if you haven't done so already. Help the channel to grow. Let's at least try and hit 30 on your way out. And again, make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't done so already. And as I said, big up yourselves. I'll catch you on Sunday, guys. As I say, make sure your notifications are on. And make sure you check out my other content. Big up each and every time. Take it easy.